Hello guys, it's Sirigath, aka Shieldcoomer from server Ragnaros. Today we're gonna be covering the other side 18 this week on Fortified, Bolstering, Quaking, Affixes, plus Tormented, of course. That is the seasonal Affix, so that feels like doesn't need to be said. As always, I think this is a pretty standard thing for Fortified DoS. We simply pop last on the first pull, we do a double pull, and as a healer you want to be using some big CDs here, just making sure that your tank stays alive. I will say one more thing though about this. So be careful. I have fallen into the trap of overcommitting CDs for this first pull. This pull has bloodlust, so if your group is somewhat decent, these guys should be dead soon. And like the only thing we did wrong here is we kind of killed them unevenly. That's why we made it harder on ourselves, but in like a better case scenario, you kill these guys a little bit more even, and this is a dead pack by now and you're fighting pack 2 already. And if that would be the case, my Rupture is not back up. I don't have much CDs, I only have Dome and Shadowfiend, which is enough in ideal case scenario, but in case your tank needs to kite, Dome won't do much for you. So I personally would not have used, if I could replay this dungeon, I would not have used my pain suppression on the tank. Although one could argue that me pain suppressing my tank has allowed him to not use any major CDs for that first pull, and therefore he has them for this pull. So I guess it's a win-win. Like, talk to your tank. It also depends what spec your tank plays, like what tank he is, and all that. But yeah, as I said, we're committed. We committed our Dome, we committed our Shadowfiend, and now we've committed our Rupture. Pay attention to that Quaking. Don't get interrupted, and obviously pay attention to darkness. I mean, I'm pretty sure, I'm willing to put money on this, that if you watch all the other side videos, there's probably like 5 by this point, if not even more. I'm sure that in 90% of them I got yeeted by the darkness. Like, there's no way I didn't. And here things got a bit dicey. I mean, obviously I was dead, so I'm actually surprised this pull went as well as it did. Really good job by everybody with kiting and just in general paying attention to, you know, the mobs and the current like situation. I felt like we dealt with it quite nicely considering the circumstances.
Dark Lotus.
A great evil lurks nearby.
And as I give you guys a nice preview of my bags, we head into the Fire Mob. Fire Mob is, in my opinion, one of the trickier ones for us as discs. I do feel that it is not a problem. Like, it's definitely something we can deal with, but as of now, I am somewhat reluctant to committing like super big CDs, especially on a Fortified week, on guys like this, like on these Tormentors.
Well fought.
And the reason is, well, I mean, if you think about it, we're going to fight Spirit now, right? So like, for Spirit, I definitely want some CDs in case we screw up the urn stun. So therefore, it is definitely very good to have some sort of backup CDs. Although, to be honest, if you screw up the urn and you're not prepared as disc, there's not much we can do anyway. People are gonna die unless they're immune. This is why, if you are playing a DPS class, I strongly urge you guys to really just do your best in terms of just keeping up the CDs for this guy, defensive ones. whether it's Faint or Turtle or Ice Block or the mage thing. Man, what is the mage thing? Alter Time, yes. Like whatever it is you got. See, Agba lived here because he popped Turtle, for example. You will need to help out your healer, because this guy just destroys you on Fortified week on anything like higher than 15. Even on 15, people are gonna drop that. If you know, just help pots, use your defensives, and we hope we live. As a Holy Priest, I feel like it wasn't that much of a struggle, to be honest. But still, you can't out heal the damage. You can only like delay it and hopefully you kill it before, you know, people die. It essentially comes down to that. Just kill it before it kills you. Very similar to kind of how I feel about Shard of Halkias in Halls of Atonement. Similar principle. And with discs, we really struggle with AoE healing. Like it's really bad. We only got Radiance and Rupture in terms of like AoE heals. We got Dome as well. So there is that. It's a 25% reduction on everybody. But they do have to be positioned in it, and sometimes, you know, that is not possible, especially if, imagine like this scenario, Quaking is coming and you put a dome and then everybody has to run out, and there's just like a lot of potential complications, so just be aware of the potential for... We do have tools to deal with it, but we have to be ready, you know, because like if you put dome when people are already dying, you've lost a lot of value. Damage reduction works in a way that it's most effective when people have high HP. And therefore the damage reduction essentially just increases their effective health points, which is the reduction itself plus their health. Anywho, we are continuing. There is a...
So me were more than happy to oblige.
This corridor can be quite tricky. Here we decided to do drill first. Okay, I did not expect that. So we did drill first. Haywire. Got line of sighted a bit here, which is quite annoying. And here Quaking, just be aware of these affixes. These affixes, like Quaking is honestly not that bad. It does cause an annoyance sometimes, and it can be tricky. Like I've had people almost die because it's Quaking. Like I wanted to cast Radiance or Rupture and I just got quaked, and it's like we don't have anything that's instant that just heals like instantly, right, as discs, which can cause like some tricky situations, but not on this guy. On this guy, no stress, we just kinda DPS, to be honest. And you can apply atonements to people that need healing, because there's not that like burst damage, because we're not gonna heal Haywire. You're just dead if you're standing Haywire.
Servant of the jailer.
So yeah. And I throw here a little Radiance, Shadow Fiend for extra damage. I'm mostly using the Shadow Fiend there as like a damage tool, to be honest. And I even used Kyrian Boon. I'm actually not sure why. I think I was probably thinking I just want to put it on CD, to be honest. You know, just help out with damage, kill this guy ASAP, because usually, as you guys know, I rant about this every single time. The most inefficient way to go through a dungeon is to pick these high health single target things. They are just such a major waste of time. And obviously, both Prideful and these lieutenants, they are exactly that. They're high HP single target mobs, and you have to deal with them. And that is what made things like Fire Mage so valuable, and things like Boomkin, who can just convoke. It's a high single target prior damage that can just commit a CD and melt essentially these targets, which is very valuable. And we're heading into the difficult Raging Spirit. I'm gonna try to walk you through this, guys. Okay, so basically no urn here. So what we do here is we fear,
rage,
and then dome the first one, and then just hope people live long enough. And then this exactly what I was talking about happened. Exactly what I was talking about happened. Quaking into dome, so people had to walk out. If they walked out earlier, we would have been dead, I guarantee you. And here things got a little bit scary. I thought Rupture, but as you can see, Rupture will only save you through basically one tick. And this is where a lot of the gameplay comes down to essentially your like player individual skill. You can see how they use their CDs here, all of them, and Touch of Karma, and your turtles, your you know, feints, your everything, just to live, right? You have to. It's as simple as that. You have to. And also one more thing I want to point out there is here a hunter like alliing me, which made this quite more scarier than it was supposed to be, but that's just standard hunter things. But essentially what I wanted to say is, so one thing to keep in mind on Raging Spirit, like you saw how, you know, applying Rupture to everybody is fine, you make a big shield, and that's very good, that's useful, that is really good. I will say one more thing though, don't forget to put a dot on them. Like, this is why I have this weak aura I created. I made it myself. There's probably better ones out there that people made already, but this one just works for me. Like, I wanted to try making a weak aura that does exactly what I wanted it to do, and I did, so I just, like, I have emotional connection to it, so I just keep using it. But whenever I target something in combat and the target doesn't have my Shadow Word Pain on it, it will show me that symbol that you guys often see when I'm switching targets. You can see it now. Yeah, now. There it is, those yellow lines. And it's just a reminder for me to keep the dots up, because I know it seems like if you just pay attention to how much it heals, it's honestly not that big heal. And here we get another person yeeted. That's okay. Actually, I think he died to Lotuses. Doesn't matter. But I know it's not a super big deal to...
Dark Lotus.
Like, it doesn't seem like it's a big deal, this heal, but think about it like this. If you have multiple dots running,
Erupting
and then you put a torment on someone, they will get some healing from it, which is good, right? And that's exactly how we want to heal, to be honest. We want that, you know, I don't want to say passive healing, but in a way it is passive healing through us dealing damage, so that's why any sort of damage we deal is very useful.
Dark Lotus.
And that is why ideally you want to be using Penance aggressively, you want to be using Smites, even Mind Blast when you have mana for it and when you think it's worth it, Solace, and Mindseer, don't forget Mindseer. And that is why Shadowfiend is such a good CD for us as well. It's not just the damage it deals, it's not the mana it returns, it's actually the healing. Shadowfiend is a big healing CD as well. Don't forget that, especially if you get like a high level conduit on Rabid Shadows. I got lucky to get it in a Mythic raid, so it's max level, and it's really, like, I noticed the difference. You guys will see in some of the dungeons, I show you the damage breakdown through in some pulls. And Shadowfiend is often like the second highest DPS ability used, sometimes even the first one. So it's just a really big CD for us, very useful. Don't be shy about using it. It's a good CD. It's a very value CD because it's a defensive and offensive at the same time. Plus it returns us mana, so you really should be planning to use it on CD, essentially. I'm okay with keeping like barrier. I kind of keep as that like oh no moment, like we're gonna die. However, I do try to use Shadowfiend as much as I can, simply because it's also like a damage boost. So therefore, killing things quicker, meaning higher chance to time your keys. And now we head into Ardenweald. This is probably the main area where we can truly shine as discs. Ideally, you will have big pulls here, and therefore you will get to Mindseer a lot, and just get that, like, that's the main advantage of basically playing this. We have that decent AoE with Mindseer, and I know sometimes it seems underwhelming, you know, you won't be doing like 10k DPS or even 5k, but you can do a lot. Well, actually you can do 5k probably on a big enough pool, but you guys know what I'm saying. Like, you want to basically, you always Mindseer if you have, I think, more than 4 targets, I believe, or 4 actually. No, it's 4, I think. If it's 3, it's not worth the Mindseer, at least people that are smart say so. I'll trust them. I sometimes still Mindseer, it depends on the situation, depends how I feel, depends how stacked they are, but it is a very powerful ability for us, and this is one of the areas in this dungeon especially where it truly shines. And it can do a lot of work, and actually I'm not even using it that much here. I should be using it much more. Just don't forget to apply Atonement, and also don't forget Mindseer works in a way where it doesn't heal every tick, I believe. To my knowledge, Mindseer only heals on the first tick. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But that's why sometimes you will see me recasting it. These little heals you see popping, those are from the dots, not from the Mindseer, I believe. That would be actually interesting to kind of like analyze a little bit further, because sometimes things are supposed to work a certain way, but they don't always do exactly as, you know, they should. So it'll be interesting to kind of like look into it a little bit. Now that I think about it, I don't know about it as much as I kind of wish I did, but I'm pretty sure that Mindseer only heals on the first tick. So if you want to do like some small amount of passive healing through Mindseer, you need to like keep recasting it, which is mana consuming. And with this sometimes have mana issues, so just be careful about that. Like if you're good with mana, you can do it. As you can see me doing it here. And then penance, and then little Shadowland, shield, keep Mindseering. But yeah, you can see how like renewing dots is important, and also don't forget you can renew dots with penance as well, so use it to shine. And on this big pool, there's not much to say besides be careful to not pull anything extra. I've done that way too many times. I kind of wish I put a dot on them all. I'm not sure if that would have been the play. Maybe like applying the dot before popping the boon, but boon does a lot of damage and I wanted to use it while they're all so nicely stacked, and then I'm trying just to spread as many dots as I can, and then I go into Mindseering. And as you can see, we've dealt like quite nice portion of damage here. 6k, 7k, what was it like when it peaked? That is pretty good, I would say, for a healer. People always think that like Holy Pala is like so insane with their damage, and they are, especially when they use Ashen Hollow. They really are. I played Holy Pala, as some of you know. I have Holy Paladin videos from the previous season when it was even more broken than it is now. But I will say, like, you can do a lot with Disc as well, and I feel like one of the main advantages of Disc over Holy Pala is just kind of the ease with which you deal damage, and you kind of deal consistent damage. It feels like Paladin damage is way more bursty. Like, outside of your Avenging Rat and Ashen Hollow, your overall is actually not that high. Plus, I will say, when tanks are kiting and things are getting intense, it takes like a really high amount of skill to both keep people alive plus deal damage. Whereas Disc, we just kind of do both passively, right? It's just a lot of passive damage going on at all times, just from these dots. If nothing else, just from these dots. And you will see, like, if I click on the damage breakdown, I don't know if I will do it on this video. I try to do it for you guys as much as I can, but it is possible that I haven't done it in this dungeon. But you will see like how much damage the dots dealt overall. It's like mostly dots, penance, then Shadow Fiend, then Mindseer, something like that. And also don't forget Shadow Word. That is also a nice little CD we can use, especially during Bolstering week when it matters which targets die first and stuff like that. We can really prio that one target to die a little bit faster. I mean, it's not insane amount of damage. It's not like, you know, Touch of Death or something. It's not like we can instantly kill them, but we can contribute a little bit, you know, and just help out in that way with that prior damage. It's not all just like uncontrollable AoE is what I'm trying to say. We have a lot of prior damage with Penance and Solace, and then potentially Shadow Fiend plus Smiting, and then of course that Shadow Word that. You can see me going there back for mana, you know, just to be sure. Here we did this little pull. I believe we pulled something extra, if I remember correctly. And because we pulled something extra, we are not gonna get those little guys, I believe. I could be wrong though, but I think usually we would pull them with these guys if we were pulling them. So I'm assuming we're going for boss after this. And as you can see, this is something very important. This is very important actually. This boss can be tricky, and I'd like to think of this boss as sort of a race. You need to kill him before you die. Like he just eventually starts doing like overwhelming amounts of damage, and because of that, what did I do? I've saved all my CDs for that. I've saved my damage CDs. I mean, I've saved Shadow Fiend, and I have saved Boon, and yeah, I don't have PI. That's true. But PI will come back up. PI will be up at some point during this boss fight, and that is important because we will probably need it. It's heading straight into the fight. I pop Shadow Fiend. To be honest, you could pop Shadow Fiend later. I actually think now like thinking in retrospective, of course it's easy to say things in retrospective, but now in retrospective I think it will be better to pop Shadow Fiend when I use PI. But I think I was following the logic of using your CDs ASAP just to get them back sooner, right? Because like the sooner you use CDs, the sooner they will be back up. So it's kind of like a
away with you.
logical thing, I believe. It makes sense, right? Because we're gonna be stuck here for a minute anyway. Might as well put it on CD so it will come back faster, right? And now it will line up. I'll have like PI plus Shadow Fiend lined up for the next in the next 2 minutes, you know, if I decide to use it.
Explosive contrivance.
And yeah, just explosive concentration, just keeping people alive. Notice how the person with the debuff is atoned, as atonements, so they get that passive healing from the dot and from all the damage we deal. And then occasionally when I see group taking damage, I pop my Radiance and then Shadow Mending when necessary. And just healing people, keeping them up. Here I throw a little Penance, and that was a very good judgment of when the Quaking will interrupt, because it didn't get me, so really good job by me.
Explosive contrivance.
Go me. Wow. I'm joking. But yeah, you can see like I didn't even use Dome, I didn't even use Paints Up. I could have Paints Up here and then Toofed if needed. Like keep in mind, if this, let's assume this was like a 22 or something, and the fight would last like 30 more seconds. I still have tools to deal with stuff. I still have my Dome, Power Word Barrier. For those that don't know, I call it Dome. A lot of people call it Dome. I'm actually not sure how that started, but it is what it is. Toofed. Really strong. Sorry. Okay, I'm not gonna cut that out of the video. I'm too lazy to do that. Sorry about the yawning though. Toofed to keep one person alive, and then you can Paint Up the other person. Keep in mind, Paint Up is a really big defensive CD, and yeah, in my opinion it is most effectively used on tank, especially on Fortified weeks. But if it means saving a DPS live, and you know that your tank isn't gonna necessarily need it to do some fancy pull that you guys are planning to do, which in most cases isn't necessary unless you're like super calculated, in that case feel free to use Paints Up on your DPS players.
Your bond with the people, the power you share.
The only power that counts be death, and death be coming for them all.
And now heading into this, if I remember correctly, we messed something up here. I remember doing some mistake here. I'm not sure if I did it or... Oh yeah, okay, I know what happens. Okay. Yeah, okay. Never mind. I know. You guys will see some as well, no spoilers. But yeah, we're just dealing damage here. I kind of wish I mind-seared a little bit more, because this was like a very good pull to mind-sear, but I was just kind of trying to dot them up. And by the time I dotted them all up, it was kind of almost too late for mind-sear, but still did okay damage. 2k, not too shabby, considering no big cities were popped. This was actually a good opportunity to use Ascended Boon. I don't know what I was saving it for. This was like a perfect opportunity. I'm a little bit reluctant to go close on that pull though, because I've died there a couple of times, especially when I played Paladin, since you are forced to be in the melee position. I know you can like stop them from spinning with Arcane Torrent and like Dispelling, but you haven't really effectively used it too much. And here I make the same mistake always. Like I just, for some reason, line of sighting here doesn't work. And I should have went where all the other players went as well. It's just absolutely my bad, and there's no excuse. I know for a fact that you can hide that, or at least you could hide that, because I know I hit there at least 2 or 3 times. But this is, I think, 3rd time I've died in a row to that Haywire because I'm trying to hide there, so I don't think I'll be doing it anymore. I think this is gonna be the last one. I've really like ingrained it in my memory right now that that's not a good hiding spot and that I need to find another one. It's just that it's a habit, right? And habits, they don't go away that easy.
Haywire.
This is why I always say sometimes if you know that there's like a correct way to play, even if in the moment it is not the best for you, but it will be at some point, I think it's still good to do it because it just breeds good habits, if you guys know what I mean. Like yeah, I don't know if that made sense, to be honest. I hope it did. Anyway, here we plan to pull them both. That's why I popped Boon, but I popped Boon a little bit too early, and honestly we pulled them too late, which is really bad. And I kind of popped a lot of CDs here now that I look at it. Like I used
self-cleaning cycle,
like 3 2-minute CDs for this one pull. Maybe a little bit of an overkill, to be honest. I think I could have saved Shadowfin for the next pack, or maybe Dome or whatever, but I don't know. It's better to use it. CDs are there to be used after all. So, you know, by doing that, I allowed my DPS to carefree DPS, therefore we killed it faster and also without some nice damage as well. So we keep going. Oh god, I forgot to close the bag again. See, this is the thing, like I don't really use right part of the screen that much, so like when I open the bag in a key, I really don't even notice. Like it takes me a while to notice. So you guys once again can get a really nice, you know, look at my inventory. It's kind of embarrassing. I feel naked now. I actually feel naked right now. Don't worry guys, I'm not underage, so it's fine to look. God damn it, close your bag, please. Close the bag. But yeah, okay, screw bags. There's an important thing to talk about here. This pack is really dangerous. You gotta have some CD for this on Fortified. This pack is potentially the most like dangerous pack in this dungeon, because what can happen is these guys will randomly target somebody and they will throw essential oil, and this essential oil, as you see, it deals about 50% of people's HP on Fortified 18. If you get unlucky and you get attacked by 2 of these at the same time, or approximately at the same time, you will die. You will get one shot. I've seen it happen. It happened to me. It can happen to anybody. You will get one shot. Use a defensive, use a personal. If you see that you don't get like a stun or fear to interrupt the cast, use a personal. 1 going through won't kill you. 2 or 3 going through will potentially kill somebody, so you gotta be careful. One more thing to say about it is we have 2 good interrupts there. We have Fear and we have Shining Force, although as you've seen, my Shining Force pushed them quite far away, so that wasn't really good. But other than that, it's a good interrupt. And yeah, you guys know how to do this boss. This is just very simple. Just stand on the opposite side and move out. As a healer, you shouldn't really soak. You should let others soak because it increases damage, but make sure to take over
Summon
if
power
needed.
crystal.
The person doing the soaking should never do the laser as well. It's just not very good, so
Summon
gotta
power
be careful
crystal.
there. And you need to take over before, you know, they move, because otherwise, obviously, the boss will soak the laser. Not much to talk about here, it's just a simple boss. And as we lose Cappy, I actually don't know if we had combat res here. Because as you know, guys, we don't have a natural combat res in this group. It's like one of the flaws we have as a discipline priest. And honestly, this is the reason why I'm gonna switch to engineering as well. I've been thinking about it for quite some time, and this is like definitely one of the major plus points is just getting that extra res on a healer is really valuable. And it just really is. There's no other way to like say it. And I've actually mistimed some keys. I say mistimed because I don't want to say like haven't done them on time. It sounds really lame. So I just say mistimed. But I've lost, like, depleted some keys. Essentially just because we didn't have a combat res. Which is quite sad, to be honest. Considering how many classes have combat res, it's just a shame not to like bring at least one of them. But you know how guild groups are. You know, we just take what's available. We can't really, you know, min-max and then leave somebody behind. That would be pretty scummy. You know, I would still rather have a guildy and suboptimal composition rather than having some pug and then risk them like leaving or being toxic.
Experimental squirrel bomb.
I mean, pugs are good. You guys know I do a lot of keys with pugs, and I love pugs, to be honest. Pugs are sometimes even better.
Squirrel bomb.
But it's a gamble, right? Sometimes they're also, as we all are. I can't say I've always been on my best behavior either. I've had my bad days as well.
True love. Now ain't that sweet? Old one Sandy had his share of romance back in the day.
Don't forget who made you a lower one Sunday. Now give me them souls and kneel before your master.
That was long ago, but me remember. Remember how the trolls be turning away from you? All them sacrifices, all that blood, how they were gonna...
You don't need worshippers. The jailer gonna give me all the power I need. And one Sandy the one who gonna be forgotten.
No, here's a lower you might remember. Haka always be needing mojo for his rituals, and one Sam they always be willing to make a deal. But what you give me that look for?
Here you guys know what to do. Interrupt devoted sacrifice, interrupt priest. Later when you get to Atala, death walkers, just make sure you don't let them spin onto everybody, then the people will be doided. Interrupt heals, of course, interrupt hexes. Although, to be honest, you can even let hexes go, as long as it's not on the person that can dispel, but that takes like a little bit of like a lot of concentration to see who is going on. As you can see here, it's on rogue, like you can see his target, right? If you have a good UI, you should always see what things are, on who the things are being cast on. And because of that, I was definitely able to, you know, say just don't, like, you don't need to interrupt if we're low on interrupts, because some groups just don't have that many interrupts, right? Or you've used them all recklessly and then no stuns or whatever.
Bladestorm. Bladestorm.
Oh, by the way, one thing you can do when these guys die and they leave those ghosts, you can just dispel them. You just dispel magic and they just die. That's something I'm embarrassed to say, but I learned that recently. I knew you can arcane torrent them, I knew you can mass dispel them, but I didn't know you can just single target dispel magic them. So PSA, right? Public service announcement. You can actually dispel magic those ghosts. It's really strong. and I'm embarrassed that I didn't know about it earlier.
Hex. Healing wave. Bladestorm, Hex. Heal. Bladestorm. Hex. Healing wave. Bladestorm. Hex.
Power is mine. I will live again. Face the wrath of the Soul
Corrupted blood.
Player. Die, mortal. Atali.
And Hakar time. Hakar can be quite tricky sometimes, guys. It's a boss on which you definitely want to be applying as much damage as you can and as much damage reduction as you can doing the blood barrier. This boss fight can be quite tough for us sometimes, because sometimes it requires a lot of spot, single target spot healing, and we're not really the best for that. One thing I don't understand is why we've let Sons of Hakar live this long. That was kind of dumb of us. We just let him build up the energy so much, but it is what it is. And yeah, here we talked about like using Dome to reduce damage earlier, as you guys seen, and all of that. But as you can see, this boss nowadays dies really fast. It got nerfed quite hard, but to be honest, it deserved a nerf. Like, I feel like any boss that requires like certain compositions to kill it at like higher levels is not a good design. Obviously, I'm talking about like, not talking about the extreme highs, you know, when you're pushing, you know, for those like world first pushes and all of that. Of course, you need the most optimal composition. But I'm talking for us, you know, like on a level, you should not need like a specific class with specific covenant and specific like trinkets and CDs to burst through a boss on 18. That's just ridiculous. So I'm glad that this boss got a little bit nerf slapped, although sometimes it does feel like a little bit too easy, but I'll take it. Listen, I'll take it. And as you can see, like without 3.2k damage, that's pretty good for this priest. Not bad at all. Maybe it could be higher, I don't know, if I use like a pot or something, but overall I'm pleased with it. And Muazala,
Cosmic Artifact Soul Crusher.
This boss is very simple actually. It all comes down to people knowing where to leave those the circles, and then just using your brain. He has a 3-hit combo, so he has right, left, and then melee.
Soul Crusher.
Those are his 3 options, and he will use them every time,
Artifice.
all three of them. And the order in which he uses them is not known. There's like not a pre-made.
Soul Crusher.
It's random, as far as I know at least. So just watch, you know, if when he's right,
Cosmic
pre-move
Master
left,
of
pre-move so you can heal. When he does melee, move back. Try to leave balls in like a normal position so you don't like put yourself in a bad spot. As you can see here, this was like a little bit scary. And also one more thing I want to say is,
Soul
guys,
Crusher.
those are actually, they linger, by the way. They stay, his attack stays after he's done, just so you know. And here I PI'd the DPS. I actually didn't see quite PI'd, but it also got on me because I'm using double PI LIGO. And I pop boom here, so we destroy this guy. Honestly, maybe an overkill a little bit.
Coalescing.
Maybe. But yeah, we just blast through this very quickly. I probably didn't need to use boom. I probably should have saved it for the burn phase on the boss, but we all managed to do it. I mean, honestly, nobody should struggle with this unless, like, I don't know, maybe some classes have a hard time, but that's what you're saving your CDs for. Like, you gotta do that. If I can do it as a healer, you can do it as a DPS. Like, there's no way you can deal 100k damage in like 30 seconds, so that would be embarrassing. So yeah, Mozola, that's pretty much it. I mean, there's not much more to say about him, then you rinse and repeat the same thing from earlier. There's a few things you can do, like if you have a good coordinated group, you guys can all move to one corner and you can mass dispel them, and then they'll all leave doors in one corner, and then you can like move uninterrupted. Or you can move to the corner yourself, as I'm doing now. Look at this, I dispel myself, I leave the ball there, and then I go back to the other side. Not the dungeon, but the actual other side. Haha, got him, good joke, Sirigath, well done. And just rinse, repeat, very clean, very simple, not much to be said there. Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you guys for watching, really appreciate it. Thanks for the support. If you guys like the content, if there's something else you would like to see, if you got any suggestions, some criticism, any sort of feedback, any questions, any way I can help you, feel free to let me know. Or if you think you can help me, also feel free to let me know. And I will catch you guys later. Thank you for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And I hope both sides of your pillows are cold. Well, unless you live somewhere where it's cold, then I hope you're whatever.
Times change, man.
Oh, okay, I actually showed the damage breakdown. And as you guys have seen, it's mostly Ascended Boon and Shadow Fiender dealing like a lot of damage. But as I said, number one is always going to be Purge the Wicked, Mind Seer and Penance, if you're doing it properly, I think. Anyway, once again, thank you for watching, guys. Bye bye.